That was Donovan Mitchell being essentially told that, he's not there yet. And I think it's a fair argument to make that he's not there, but for Shaq to say that he might be the third option on the team, I think that's he's capping just a little bit because look at what the Jazz are doing right now. 14-4. Mitchell's having a very good season. He's like doing well. He's got 23 points per game, almost 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds. Like he's doing his job, and I think they're part of the reason there's this kind of, I guess I don't want to say bias, but it really is a bit of a bias, is because like he plays in that market. He plays in that market and he plays in and people tend to not focus too much on that. But Andrew, what do you think about Shaq's comments and that little back and forth they had?
I mean, personally, I'm not going to sit here and try to incite something, but I don't disagree with Shaq. Donovan Mitchell's still a very young player. He's still, obviously, I don't think he's hit his prime yet. He might be 23 or 24 years old. He's not in his prime yet. And listen, in order to get to that level, you have to keep putting the work in and you got to show us. Like you got to actually take your team there. Now, I know
Well,
Donovan Mitchell has been in the years a few. Let me finish.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Someone like Shaq saying that, this guy is might be a third option on a championship team today. That's not saying he can't get to a first option on a championship level team, but he's got to keep working and he's got to keep doing it. You got to understand, dude, if there's anyone who knows about being a first or even a second option on a championship team, it's Shaquille O'Neal. Like even when Shaq was young Shaq in Orlando, Shaq was 22 years old when it was him and Penny Hardaway. He was the 1B, if you want to say, at 22 years old on a team that went to the NBA Finals in 1995 or something like that against the Rockets. And then again, when he became Prime Shaq and they ran it back all those years with the Lakers and everything like that, he was the 1A or 1B, whichever you want to say it. So if there's anyone who knows a thing or two about getting two championships and leading a team to a championship, whether it's being a first option, second option, or a 1A, 1B, it's Shaq. I don't think it was meant to be disrespectful, but I do think in today's game, players, I'm not going to say Donovan Mitchell's sensitive, but it seems like certain players, especially these younger players, you kind of got to challenge them, and the older guys have to challenge them and more or less, force them to get to a level that these guys probably think they can get to, but don't actually get themselves to without that added motivation.
Right.
That's how I view it.
And I don't think it really has. I don't think it's sensitive is the right word. I think it just might be they. I think you're right about that. The aspect that they're not as, I guess, challenged because I think they're just as driven as years past. I think they're driven in different ways though, and and Christian Science just or Sands. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Christian just asked in the chat, "Do you think Donovan Mitchell wins a chip with the Jazz?" And his follow up was, "Do you think the Jazz need another superstar?" And I think those questions kind of go hand in hand with what we're talking about. At the end of the day, is Donovan Mitchell going to be the guy who, delivers a championship to Utah? He could be, but I don't think this core is ready to win a championship, especially with LeBron in the West. I think that's with Donovan Mitchell, reaching his full potential. He could be going like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Donovan Mitchell out there, and I think he would still need help because that's just the NBA. That's just what the NBA is. Winning it by yourself is extremely difficult, and it's been getting exceedingly difficult every single year to the point where I think the last person we can honestly say led a team by themselves, or like in the last maybe 10 years or whatever, is Dirk Nowitzki in Dallas. Because really, who did he have on that team? He had aging Jason Terry, an aging Jason Kidd, JJ Barea, who's not really that much help. Like essentially, it had to be him on in most games. So, I think it's hard to do. Can Donovan do it? Maybe if he gets a lot better, but I honestly just don't see it in today's game.
It is tough too because
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, even though it is a guard-driven lead, especially they're out west, you got to understand Sacramento is on the come up. Sacramento already had their guard of the future, and
Oh, Sacramento's been on the
De'Aaron
come up
Fox.
for 10 years.
Yeah, I know. Sacramento already has their guard of the future, and then they got this kid, what's his name, Halliburton or something like that they drafted.
Oh,
So
Halliburton's
he's
good.
he's
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 really good.
probably leading candidate for rookie of the year, and that's with De'Aaron Fox. They already have Buddy Hield, so you got that team is on
They
the
still
come
have
up.
Buddy
Remember
Hield. Yo,
this is a team that
they're
dude,
like the anti-Knicks.
dude, this
You
is a
guys are
team.
all power forwards. They're all guards.
This is a team that went 7 games and lost 7 games to Denver. Now, mind you, Denver's another one. Denver's very good. Devin Booker. Devin Booker is finally has something over there in Phoenix. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But with Utah, I don't think Utah wins a championship. To answer the question, I don't think Utah wins a championship with Donovan Mitchell. If so, they're gonna need a lot of help, and they're gonna need. I mean, obviously any team that adds a Kevin Durant type player, but they're gonna need a player like that. Like they're gonna have to build the way the Warriors were able to build that core with the 2 shooters and then the defensive guys all around them and everything. Like they're gonna have to build. They have a team that's kind of built like that, just not. They don't have the talent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing too. There's another thing too that when it comes to Utah, Shaq has not really a vendetta with Utah, but I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember Shaq's comments about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I remember
when Rudy Gobert signed the big contract, and he was basically just like, "All right, kids out there, so all you have to do is average 12 points, and you can sign a max contract." So I don't think it was necessarily meant to throw shade at Donovan Mitchell, but I also think Shaq kind of has a little bit of a vendetta because traditional big men are not what they used to be. We don't have the David Robinsons, the Hakeem Olajuwons, the Shaqs. We don't have guys like that anymore. And for him to see a guy that doesn't really do nearly as much. Now, he does play his role on that team very well, but he's not Shaq.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, I mean, like if you were to ask me, is the second guy on that championship team there right now? I would say no.
No, absolutely not.
They Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley are not going to get it done. Donovan Mitchell needs someone else. He needs someone like he needs either a Batman to his Robin or a Robin to his Batman, because right now that core is not winning in the West, especially when you have teams like the Lakers dominating right now. You have a dormant giant potentially brewing with the Warriors. You have the Suns still in it. You have the Mavericks, who Luka's only going to get better, and the Mavericks are very good. Managed. They're a very good, well managed team. They're a very well coached team. That team is only going to get better
too.
Got
when
Portland's healthy, who's always going to be out there.
When Portland's healthy, dude, that is the team you always got a healthy Portland is one of the most dangerous teams. Like nobody wants to play a healthy Portland.
Like at some point it becomes like okay, like how are you going to beat these teams? Denver's still there. Denver, I argue, is probably the second best team in the entire conference. And when if you look at it from who's going to be competing for a championship, we know it's not the other team in LA that I will not name. But it's I think it's going to be interesting. They're going to have to trade for someone. They're going to have to get someone if they want to win a championship soon. I don't see them winning with Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley. It's just not going to happen. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.